Right, so you teach lots of students, don't you, Zach?
Yes, I have quite a few students in Harrow.
So you've been teaching, how long have you been teaching for?
I've been teaching for the last almost 15 years in the UK here.
So what's the question that you get asked the most?
The most common question I often asked is how to purchase a good set of tablas. And in my opinion, it's good to buy a fairly reasonable one, with good quality wood.
So what's good quality wood?
Good quality wood would be shisham, and make sure when you're purchasing a tabla, it doesn't have any cracks in the wood itself, in the body.
Okay, tell me what shisham is.
Shisham is rosewood. It's a very strong wood which doesn't deteriorate over time.
Because normally when you go to India, and say because as you know, I've lived in India, and when you go to the shops and they know, you don't really know what you're talking about, anyone could tell me it's shisham wood. I wouldn't know what to look for. So how do I test if it's shisham wood?
There's one particular way we test it is by turning it upside down, and if you hit this bottom bit of the tabla with a hammer, it will dent rather than crack, and that tells you that it's a good quality wood.
So if it has a dent, so you take your hammer with you to the shop.
Well, they'll have a hammer in the shop. They'll have a hammer in the shop anyway.
Right. So you can use the hammers they have in for musicians.
Yeah.
And if you use the hammer,
yeah,
and then it will have a dent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rather than a crack. Yeah.
So if I use the hammer and it cracks, what does that mean?
That means there's a cheaper version of tablas you can buy as well, which is called shisham amrao. It's not shisham, but it's probably a mango or another type of wood,
right? So
which doesn't have the same strength as the shisham does.
So shisham is rosewood.
Rosewood, yes, yeah.
Okay, and what sort of colour and texture are we?
Colours can vary from North India to going towards Nasik, Maharashtra. The wood changes. The same shisham wood, you can get various colours. Colour doesn't really matter. That's personal preference. If you want a darker one or a lighter colour.
So a lot of the students you teach are mainly from Punjab and Gujarat. So what can we expect in terms of this shisham wood if we're heading towards that way for our holidays and we want to purchase this particular wood? Are we looking at a particular colour in those regions?
Yeah, in North India the wood tends to be lighter in colour. The shisham, it's slightly lighter.
So can you just point this? So what colour are we looking at there? This is quite a dark.
So this
wood.
is slightly darker. This I've been using for the last 15 years or so. This particular wood, and most of the students or parents, when they see this particular tabla, they want to buy this. So therefore, I order them from Bombay.
So that's where you get your tablas.
I have them made in Bombay. I do. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then what else? Once we've taken a look at the wood and done the hammer test, what's the next thing to look for?
Yeah, the via, which is the left-hand drum, that also needs to be of good quality. When I say good quality, a good 2.5 to 2.7 kgs in weight is a good tabla, because we say if you buy a good tabla once, it'll last you for the rest of your life. But if you keep on buying in grades, cheaper one and then slightly dearer one and then so forth, keep moving up the steps, I think it doesn't really have much bearing on your getting used to the instrument. So therefore, one instrument, it'll last you for a lifetime.
Right. So with this, did you say it's called the buyer?
Buyer, yes.
Yeah. So with the buyer, so it goes by weight.
Yeah.
And what's that made out of?
This can be copper, or it can be brass, but this is nickel plated, and you get various types which are decorated. Purely, this is just personal preference again. This is a very simple one, or you can have elephants on it or various other things, have them handcrafted onto it, but it's not necessary. It's just purely personal preference, that is.
Well, that sounds fantastic. But in terms of again, when we were looking at the shishan wood for the what's this
The
one called?
tabla,
For the
dhaina,
tabla.
yeah.
So for the
Baya,
Baya,
yeah.
how do you know if that's good quality? Does the same principle apply? Is there any particular thing I'm looking for, or is it mainly the weight?
Generally, it's the weight. Weight will give good depth to the instrument. If it's like I said, if it's a very light one, it'll give you very the tone quality of this instrument will be very shallow. But with the heavier uh, metal, it'll give you a lot of depth.
Okay, so for the
Tabla,
tabla,
yeah.
we do the hammer test, and for the Baya,
You just
we
have
do
to take their word for if the weight will
do
give
the
you a
weight
good
test.
indication. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. So anything else we need to be looking for?
Now, when you're buying a tabla, go through somebody who knows, even if you're going to India, so that they can also verify what you're buying is to a good standard.
But most people don't really know anyone who's musical.
Yeah,
so
you just
they
have to take
rely
their
on
word
video.
for it. Yes, yeah, you just have to take their word for it. Then.
Well, I believe some people actually FaceTime you while they're in the shop.
Yes, they do. Yeah, I mean, that I don't mind. You're more than welcome to FaceTime me if ever you're in a tabla shop. I'll be more than happy to assist you.
Can you tell from FaceTime?
Yes, I can. I have a fairly good idea. Yeah.
Because obviously, you're looking at it from through a camera.
Yeah.
But you can tell.
Yeah, I can. I have a fairly good idea.
And then when students have brought their instruments back to you, you've been fairly happy with the purchase.
Yeah. So far, we've been. I mean, few times we've had. That's not through FaceTime, but yes, children have come back with instruments. They think they got a really good deal, but they picked up the cheapest one. And
So
then I have to disappoint them. But yeah.
Yeah. So when they have picked up a cheap one, what have been the main problems with the cheaper tablas?
Well, when usually when children see my tablas here, and then obviously they compare them, and in comparison, their tablas are much lighter in quality, in weight, and the tonal quality isn't there either.
Yeah.
So
they're not able to gain the same musical sounds.
No.
Okay. Right. So if you bring your tablas back from India, what's the safest way to get them over?
You can buy hard cases for tablas, which protect your instrument when you're traveling, and they won't allow you to carry the drums inside the aeroplane, so therefore they go in the main luggage. So it's advisable to buy the hard case to carry the instrument.
So what's the hard case made out of?
Hard case can be made out of fiberglass, PVC.
Okay. And do you need to insert anything around the tabla when it's in that case?
No, usually the shopkeeper will tell you how to place the instrument inside the case, and then it's usually fairly tight inside the case.
Right. So in the UK, the weather's quite damp, and obviously we get extremes of weather as well, where it can be quite cold and could get quite warm all of a sudden in the summer if we're lucky. How do we actually look after them in these weather conditions?
That's a really good question. Looking after your instrument is really important. When you bought your instrument back from India here, or if you've purchased it here, try not to place them near radiators, because obviously we use central heating in this country. Try not to expose them to sunlight. When you're not playing your instrument, always cover them with the gadis. And maybe if you want to, you can also place them back in their case once you've played them. That way your drums are safe.
Okay. So I think it'd be quite useful to show people viewing this the actual case as well, because I think a lot of people may not have seen this actual case. So
Sure.
I'm just going to bring that over.
Sure.
I think you need to move the tablas.
Sure. If I just move my tablas away. This is the case I've been using for a long time. It's, as I said, a hard case. PVC hard case, and it carries just one pair of drums inside this. And if I show you inside, I have a drum inside. I keep it like this. When I'm traveling from place to place, I usually cover it with a cushion, hammers in there, and this is how I place the instruments inside it. So the tabla goes sideways, then I place the ring inside there. That gives it added protection, so it doesn't wobble. When I remove the tabla, you can see I've placed the baya upside down again for further protection, so the skin doesn't get damaged. And then I put the ring on top again, so the body doesn't get damaged.
Can you just take the baya out,
Yeah,
so people
sure.
who've forgotten what that is?
Sure.
Just a little reminder, because
Yeah.
we're all new to tabla, so
Sure. Okay.
you need to spoon feed us a bit.
Yeah, no problem. Here we go.
So that's the baya.
This is the baya. So there, I always put the covers on, and then I place it upside down inside the case. Place the ring on top, the tabla on its side, and then the other ring on the side.
Now,
Yeah.
this hammer looks quite dangerous.
Yes, yeah.
Can you give us some safety tips about the hammer?
Don't leave this in the children's possession, because sometimes they imitate their teacher or what they've seen on TV or sometimes in a program, and they try and tune their instrument with this hammer. So as I can show you, this hammer is quite heavy hammer. It just requires a gentle touch to the wrong part of the drum and it will damage the drum. So therefore, always keep it away, out of the reach of children, until they are able to tune their instrument with confidence.
And under no circumstances to play
No,
with the hammer.
No.
It's extremely
no,
dangerous.
it's very dangerous. So please don't have any thoughts of playing around with it at all.
Any
And
last
I
tips,
always-
Zach? Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
as I said, looking after the instrument is important. When people come to your house, everybody likes to have a little tap on the drum. Don't let them touch your drum. Just be firm and be honest, and just say, "Excuse me, I don't like anybody playing with my drums. Please."
Is that what
Yeah.
happens if everyone?
Because sometimes you may have wet hands, and wet hands will damage your sihai. This is the sihai.
black part.
Yeah, the black spot here.
Yeah.
And you don't want to damage this under any circumstances, because once this is damaged, the whole instrument is affected. And here, I don't know in the UK if people replace this sihai for you, but in India we can get this replaced. But here, means you have to change the whole of the top skin now.
Yeah, so this is to stop the
Yeah.
hassle of getting it reskinned,
Yeah.
because it is difficult to get hold of good, skilled people.
That's right. Yes, yes.
Even sometimes you have.
I've
problems,
had problems.
accessing
Yes,
people.
I've not been able to get the results I wanted.
Yeah.
So therefore, I usually take my instruments back home
Back home to India,
to India. Yeah, to have them.
even though you lived here for.
Yes, yeah.
So many years.
I have had one or two experiences of having them replaced, but it hasn't given me the result I wanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've asked all the questions, and I think
Wow.
you've answered them very thoroughly, Zach.
Well, I'm pleased that I could have helped. So enjoy your instruments, tabla especially. And so for many years to come. Yeah.
So if you have any questions, we're loading this up onto YouTube. So if you have any questions, then please ask through the comments there, and we'll hopefully get back to you. And thank you for listening.